Welcome back to our channel, Neophytes. Today we'll be starting a new series about understanding the architecture of the mind. This is an introduction into Socionics and its core framework, Model A. Here, personality isn't just a list of traits. It's a pattern of attention, a way your mind feeds on reality, organizes it, and responds. Model A is that skeleton of that pattern. It shows what you notice first and what you build your life around, what you perform for others, and where you secretly feel clumsy or ashamed. Think of this episode as a map key. Before we meet the 16 types, we're going to understand the structure they're all built on. Socionics grew out of young psychological types and developed further by Ashura Augusta and focused on how people exchange information with each other and the world. Where many systems stop at describing traits, Socionics asks a deeper question. How does your mind actually process information? Model A is the diagram or framework that answers that question. It takes the 8 information elements, NE, NI, SE, SI, FE, FI, TE, and TI, and places them into 8 specific positions. Each of the 16 Socionics types is one unique arrangement of those 8 pieces. Same ingredients of different architecture. You can imagine Model A as the blueprint of your psyche. It doesn't say you're introverted and quirky. It says something sharper, like your mind is built around NI and FE. You fake TI. You're blind in TE. You long for support in SE. And you quietly overperform in FI. Or it might say you live in TE and NI. You roleplay FE. You're awkward with FI, and you ache for strong SI, and your SE runs as a hidden engine in the background. If you remember one line from this slide, let it be that Model A is the architecture of how your type processes reality. Everything else is a decoration on top of that. Model A first divides the psyche into 2 floors. The mental ring and vital ring. The mental ring is your social mind, what you can explain, argue, teach, and justify. It's the part that steps forward and when someone asks, "So who are you? And how do you think?" The vital ring is your living intelligence, instinct, habit, body, and automatic reactions. It shows up in how you move, how you eat, how you rest, how you behave when no one's watching. You can think of it as the mental ring is the story you tell about yourself, and the vital ring is the operating system that actually runs you. At the same time, your body and moods push back. Fatigue, tension, appetite, and attraction all feed data into your thoughts, whether you like it or not. Some types live mostly upstairs, explaining everything. Others live downstairs, reacting and adapting instinctively. Model A quietly reveals which type leans which way, and where the gap is between the story you tell and the life you actually live. Within these 2 halves, Model A divides the psyche into 4 blocks, each with 2 functions: ego, superego, super ID, and the ID. Each block is its own emotional climate inside of you. The ego block is the sense of this is what I am, and it holds your main strengths and your natural lens on reality, the activities you build your life around. The superego block is the sense of this is what I should be. It carries social pressure, guilt, and the parts of you that feel like homework. The super ID block is where you feel hungry and grateful. This is what I want others to bring to me. And the ID block is the quiet, instinctive competence. I can do this easily, but I don't need to center it. The ego sits mostly in the mental half. It's a part of you that feels like home. When you use these functions, you feel alive, competent, and justified. People often recognize you by your ego. It's what leaks into your speech, your hobbies, career, and worldview. The superego is also mental, but it feels very different. It's a mask built for others. Here you hear the voice of should. I should be more logical. I should be more emotional. I should be more organized. I should be more warm. You can perform these functions, but they're very tiring and often tinged in self-criticism. The ego says, I am like this. The superego says, if I want to be acceptable, I guess I have to be like this. The super ID lives in the vital half and carries your longings. Here are the functions where you feel a kind of innocent need. You want others to be strong, generous, and confident in this area so you can relax into it. When someone meets you through your super ID, when they bring that missing piece without judgment, you feel nourished, inspired, and strangely safe. The ID block is also vital, but it holds quiet, instinctive strength. These functions are well developed, but you don't feel the need to talk about them or build your identity around them. If we describe the 4 blocks in one line, we would have the ego as a home, the superego as a mask, the super ID as something we hunger for, and the ID as our background power. Now we zoom in from blocks to the 8 function positions. Every type has 8 positions, but different elements in each seat. Similar to the MBTI, each function has a numbered position. However, the blockings give the Socionics functions a unique order due to the flow of information elements. The first position is the base or the leading function. Think of this as your axis of perception. It's effortless and constant. You filter reality through this lens without trying. You don't notice you're doing it any more than a fish notices water. Position 2 is the creative function. This is the tool you pick up to shape the world according to your base. You use it to help, fix, translate, and adapt. This is where your natural artistry and improvisation usually live. The way you play with your primary sense of seeing. Together, your base and creative form your ego, the core I am, and this is how I act on what I see. Position 3 is the role function, the social costume. You put it on when the situation demands it, at work, in formal settings, or in new groups. You can perform here, sometimes impressively so, but it feels stiff and tiring if you stay there too long. Position 4 is the vulnerable function, often called the point of least resistance or the bruise. Here, you feel easily exposed or humiliated. You may try to avoid situations that demand this function, or you get very defensive when people criticize you here. The role function says, I act like this so you don't reject me. The vulnerable function says, please don't hit me here. I don't know how to protect myself in this domain. Position 5 is the suggestive function, your soft spot in a positive sense. Here, you crave others' natural confidence. When someone embodies this function with ease, it feels magical, like they're bringing water to a thirsty plant. Position 6 is the mobilizing function. insecure but full of potential. Encouragement here wakes you up and makes you want to grow. Harsh criticism here shuts you down quickly. Position 7 is the ignoring function, something you're actually skilled at, but you quietly dismiss as not central. You use it when needed, but then you move on from it. Position 8 is the demonstrative function, a background powerhouse. You express it constantly in small ways, jokes, side comments, and practical competence, but you don't want to be defined by it, so you rarely put it as the forefront and center. I wanted to give each position in Model A a symbol, something you can picture when you think about the model. The base function is our central sun. That's why it's an icon with a circle that orbits around it. Your whole experience revolves around this way of seeing. The creative is a tool, so I used an icon of a pen or a wand, touching a circle with a small spark. This is how you do something with what you see. The role is a mask, a simple half-light, half-shadow mask, something you can put on so the world will accept you. The vulnerable function, or the polar function, is a crack in the shield. This icon is a shield with a fracture, an area where your defenses are thin and criticisms land hard. The suggestive is a cup, an open chalice with light rising, the part of you that longs to receive this kind of energy from others. The mobilizing function is a small seed, a sprout under a beam of light. It's fragile but grows. The ignoring function is a gear. It's off to the side and slightly faded. You're actually good at this, but you don't consider it central to who you are. And the demonstrative is a hidden engine. You show it constantly in subtle ways, comments, small acts of competence, but rarely in the foreground. You don't build your personality around it. Beyond the blocks and positions, Model A also describes 2 rings of information flow, 2 loops that connect your functions. One ring is more yin in nature. It's receptive, outward-facing, and focused on collecting impressions, sensations, stories, and possibilities from the world. This is the part of you that says, "Show me, let me taste, see, and sample reality," your extroverted or external perception. The yang ring is inward-facing, focused on processing, organizing, and concluding, also known as information gathering. This side asks, what does this all mean? How do these pieces fit together? What should we do? Your introverted or internal processing. Together, the yin and yang rings in cognition form a cycle. World, yin intake, yang digestion, expression back into the world. One could also say that the first ring, yin, creates examples, and the second ring, yang, creates conclusions. When they're in harmony, we keep moving between openness and understanding. We stay curious, and then we make grounded decisions. When one dominates, things get skewed. Too much yin without yang is like drowning in input with no clarity. And on the reversal side, too much yang without yin can be like rigid conclusions and not enough fresh data. Different types lean towards different parts of this loop. Some are natural collectors, others are natural deciders. Model A shows you what functions you sit on and which side of this circulation. All of this architecture, blocks, positions, and rings come together in 16 distinct types. These 16 are grouped into 4 quadras, each with its own set of valued elements and a shared worldview. In Alpha Quadra, we have valued NE, TI, FE, and SI. As types, we have ILE, the intuitive, logical extrovert, SEI, the sensoric, ethical introvert, the ESE, the ethical, sensoric extrovert, and LII, the logical, intuitive introvert. In Beta Quadra, we have NI, SE, FE, and TI valued. Here we find the SLE, sensoric, logical extrovert, the IEI, intuitive, ethical introvert, the EIE, ethical, intuitive extrovert, and the LSI, the logical, sensoric introvert. In Gamma Quadra, they have valued SE, TE, FI, and NI, and the types we find here are the SEE, sensoric, ethical extrovert, the LIE, logical, intuitive extrovert, the ILI, intuitive, logical introvert, and the ESI, the ethical, sensoric introvert. In Delta Quadra, they have valued SI, FI, NE, and TE, and the types we find here are the IEE, intuitive, ethical extrovert, the SLI, sensoric, logical introvert, the LSE, logical, sensoric extrovert, and the EII, ethical, intuitive introvert. A Socionics type is not just which functions you have. Everyone has access to all 8 elements. What defines a type is the arrangement. Which elements are leading and creative, which are role and vulnerable, which are suggestive and mobilizing, and which remain in ignoring or demonstrative. 2 people can both use, say, logic or emotion, but if logic is someone's base function versus someone's role function, it feels entirely different on the inside. So when we say I'm IEI or I'm LSE, what we're really saying is this is my specific Model A layout. This is how my mind is wired to move through reality. Each quadra shares a value set, a kind of emotional and cognitive culture. Alpha tends to value openness, play, curiosity, and shared understanding. Betas value intensity, drama, will, and coordinated action. Gammas value realism, effectiveness, loyalty, and long-term gains. Deltas value comfort, authenticity, personal growth, and steady contribution. These values shape what each quadra finds normal or good behavior and what feels off or wrong. When you're with people from your quadra, you often feel like the world runs on the same rules. With other quadras, it can feel like you're living in different kinds of stories. Let's step back and see the whole picture we've just drawn. We started with the idea that you're not a random bundle of traits, but a pattern of attention, a way of metabolizing reality. We saw how Model A divides the psyche into mental and vital halves, organizes it into 4 blocks, 8 positions, with 8 information elements. We added the 2 rings of information flow and saw how the 16 types and 4 quadras emerge from different arrangements of the same ingredients. This is the architecture we'll be working with for the rest of the series. From here, we're going to go deeper into the psyche piece by piece. Upcoming episodes will explore the 8 information elements, as well as the 8 ways of knowing the world. We'll walk through the 8 function positions with concrete examples so you can recognize your own base, your own vulnerable, and suggestive. Then we'll travel through all 16 types, how each architecture feels from the inside and behaves in relationships, and how it grows over time. By the end, you'll not only know your type, you'll understand the blueprint beneath it. You are not the noise of your thoughts. You are the pattern of how they move. Model A just traces the riverbed. The water is entirely yours. If simple labels have ever felt too flat or shallow for you, this framework is an invitation to something more textured, a way to see the hidden logic behind your patterns. In the next episode, we will begin with the 8 information elements themselves, the raw languages of perception and judgment. Until then, notice how you naturally pay attention. Notice how you overuse, what you fake, what you avoid, and what you long for in others. Those patterns are already pointing back to your own architecture of mind.